So, a lot of you have heard about the lawsuits. We've talked a little bit about it before. I'm going to break it down. We also have a new buyer broker agreement. It is not enacted yet. Not everybody has to use it. A lot of the agents are starting to use it now, as I will be as well. Get ahead of the curve, right? So the lawsuits pretty much said that as an agent, I can represent you as a buyer. I have to tell you upfront what I charge, what are my fees. I cannot accept more than what I told you in the beginning. So that means if I tell you I take X amount of dollars and then we go and look at a house and that agent or that seller is offering more than what I told you I would charge you, I cannot accept more. I can only accept what I asked for in the beginning. They are doing this, in my opinion, to negate the possibility of me steering you towards a house that has a higher commission or a higher fee that they're offering to pay me as the buyer's agent. This makes sense, in my opinion, right? So previously what would happen is the listing agent, so the person selling their house, would say, we're going to offer X amount of dollars. Let's just say 3%, because that was what was common in our area, 3%. So the seller says, yes, I'm willing to pay the buyer's representative 3% at the end when we close, right? So that meant that the buying person did not have to pay the fee for their representation, for their agent. Now, that did create a problem in some cases because, like I said, some agents were using that to steer their people, their buyers, towards those houses that had higher amounts, higher commissions that would make me more money versus what was actually better for you as my client. My fiduciary duty as your agent is to always represent you in your best interest, not mine. My payment does not matter to me. That is not part of my duty. My duty is to you. I represent you. So if there is a house that you as my buyer are interested in buying and maybe their fee is less or did not offer any at all, I, in my fiduciary duty, should not steer you away from or not let you have the opportunity to look at or dissuade you from buying that just because I would make less money. That's not allowed. That's against fiduciary law. And we sign papers and we take the classes that teach us what is and is not right, and that is wrong. So people who were doing that previously were already doing the wrong thing. So now that we have this new paperwork that outlines it all, hopefully, this will not happen anymore to anyone. And it will be fair. And it will be, I charge X amount for what I do for you. For my representation of you, I will charge X amount of dollars. And at the end, you as the buyer will be responsible for that fee. Now, that doesn't mean that the seller will not offer some concessions which may pay for all or part of my fee. That is still possible. That can still happen. However, it is not going to be as common as it was before. So most likely, you as the buyer is going to be responsible for the fee of your agent who represents you during the transaction. To no one who's been in real estate before, that sounds like common sense, right? So you wouldn't say, yes, I hired someone to represent me. Let's just say a lawyer. You hired a lawyer to represent you, but you want the person on the other side to pay for your lawyer. Sometimes that does happen, right? But you wouldn't go in assuming that's going to happen. If you have someone to represent you, you are ultimately responsible for how much that fee is to be represented. So in the end, if you're buying, you should have representation. You are going to be responsible for that fee. So, okay, so the buyer broker agreement is the form that we fill out that spells out to you, my client, my fees for my services and my representation of you. So it tells you exactly what you can expect from me, and it tells you what I expect from you. So I expect from you that if you sign this agreement, that you will use my brokerage and myself as your agent, as your representation, and that you will not, I don't want to say step out on me, but it gives the guarantee to us both that we will both help and assist each other, and creates that bond, that piece of paper that says, yes, I am going to represent you, and yes, you are going to use me to represent you, right? It does sound like a scary thing, and all contracts are scary things, right? So, as with all contracts, read the whole thing and understand it. Even if you don't use me as your agent, make sure that you read every contract or agreement that is given to you. Read it in its entirety before you sign it and understand what you're signing. These are legal documents, so yes, they can be scary, but they don't have to be. If you understand and you are educated and knowledgeable and you are working with someone who truly has your best interest in mind, they don't have to be scary, right? So the buyer broker agreement says, I, as your agent, will represent you to the best of my ability and my knowledge for X amount of dollars, either a percentage or a blanket amount. So if you would like to see what the broker buyer agreement looks like, feel free to drop me a line and I can send you a blank copy, and you can read it over, and then feel free to ask me questions. You may not be my client yet, but you might be one day, or you may be someone else's. I don't mind helping. So if you have questions, feel free to ask me. Okay? Thanks. Have a great day.